Hey everybody, Dr. Rob here, Facebook Live. COVID-19 has, without question, taken over the conversation in the world. So many people are reaching out, and I'm here for you. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them. Put them in the box. I've got someone and they're going to read them to me. Number two, if you see this later and you don't want to ask a question, email me, info@drrobertsilverman.com. We're here to help. We all have to get together and try and help defeat this, and it's a rallying point for everybody. That's the way I look at it. So everybody stay healthy, ask questions. I'm going to go over on how to flatten the curve. So for the next several weeks, I'll be doing Facebook Lives at 1 o'clock. So feel free at any time, any health concern, anything you need, home exercise, things like that. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. So one, so many people have asked me, is COVID-19 different than the seasonal flu? And it's drastically different. Let's understand the seasonal flu is human to human. And we already have, for the most part, antibodies to it because we've had it for a while. So we've either got our antibodies from ourselves for protecting ourselves when the virus has hit us or through flu shots. Now, we've always known when it's a bad flu season and it's a new strain, people get sicker because it can compromise people who have compromised immune systems. So the seasonal flu is very different. Now, COVID-19 was very interesting in that it started from animal to animal. And all of a sudden, approximately December in 2019, it went from animal to human. Within 2 weeks, it mutated, and then it could pass from human to human. At that point, it was one mutation. Then, in a duration of a short period of time, it mutated again. This mutation is very interesting in that it got spiked proteins. So people ask, why is this spread? Why does it spread so quick? Well, it's very similar. I've got all my notes here. 86% equal to the genomic sequence as SARS-CoV, which was previous. However, there's a specific structural difference. There's a protein receptor on the cell membrane called furin. That protein receptor called furin allows the spiking to occur. And now we're having problems with a lot of people who get it with lungs. Understand that it's a different sequence because it went from animal to animal, animal to human, and now it's human to human. They call it slippery because they're having trouble catching it. You know, with 2 mutations, that's part of the reason that the vaccine is so difficult. The reason that it's so virulent is because we haven't had this virus before, so our own bodies haven't made antibodies to it. So someone who's really healthy has to fend it off and produce the antibodies. And we're going to discuss in the succeeding Facebooks how to keep ourselves healthy, how to keep our immune system strong, and also what to do on a day-to-day basis to get past this. Interesting in that it's different from the seasonal flu, which we discussed. There's no relative immunity yet because we haven't had it. A point I wanted to make was we're all susceptible. Now, I'm not in panic. I'm sitting here in my house. I'm doing what I'm supposed to. I'm speaking to people online. I'm speaking to you right now. We go out and we shop. We exercise. We do those things. So there's no panic here. Everybody know, take a deep breath, calm down. I'm here to help if anybody needs it. What we do need to know is that people who have chronic disease or immune compromise are really susceptible. They're actually 10 times more susceptible to getting it and having something adverse. So if you feel that you've been in contact with it, please avoid everybody else. If you do have that chronic disease, especially something like diabetes, really be careful. Stay at home, do the self-quarantine. What we know, it's easily transmissible on surfaces up to 72 hours. Those surfaces are plastic and steel. 3 days. The New England Journal of Medicine found out, they just did a study which just came out. If anybody needs a link, I'm happy to share that in the comment section, that it lives on cardboard for 24 hours. And believe it or not, it does very poorly on copper, only 4 hours. The infections can transmit in our body from anywhere from 2 to 14 days. That's why they're talking about the 2 weeks staying in to flatten that curve. Now, with that being said, the average person shows symptoms in 5.1 days. Now, the virus is easily killed by antibacterial cleaning agents, alcohol, and the like. So don't be afraid to use them on your hands. Let's talk about some of the typical symptoms. Number 1, fever. Number 2, cough. Number 3, fatigue. Runny nose is not a symptom because a lot of us, even myself, are suffering from a very strong seasonal allergy season. Just remember, the disease can affect the lungs, and you're going to hear this term a lot. Sanjay Gupta does a great job on CNN, and other docs are doing great. It's called a cytokine storm and a burst of inflammation. Cytokines are inflammatory markers. You believe it or not, your gut releases them. They release these cytokines, which release specific interleukins, and they're very deleterious to your health. They're very inflammatory. So when we talk about the things and how to fix it, we're going to quelch that cytokine storm. So what to do to flatten the curve? Now, why do they talk about flattening the curve? So you always see this big circle curve and then this line. You want to stay under the big circle curve because if too many people get sick at one point, the sick people won't be able to get helped because we don't have enough beds, we don't have enough ventilators, and we're going to overload our medical system. It's happening all through the world. That's what happened in Iran. That's what happened in Italy. So we're trying to spread it out. Now, of course, we want to be able not to have anybody have it. So here are some interesting ideas on how to flatten the curve. Social distance. We've talked about that. I don't know who came up with the term, but it's quite interesting. 6 feet. Practice good hygiene. I have never washed my hands with soap and hot water more than this. They are cracking. So soap and hot water every 20 to 30 minutes, anytime you touch someone. So if you go to the store and you buy food, the virus, in theory, could be on the packaging of the food. Don't get nervous. Wash your hands, clean them after you leave the store. Stay home. I'm home now. You guys see, this is the first time I've done this from home. You usually see me in my office. And let's all try and protect those at risk. Support your immune system. I have a great saying. You've heard it here before. Hippocrates once said, let food be your medicine. So let's start eating healthy. Eat whole foods, nutrient-dense foods. Some of the things that you want to adhere to are acronyms that I use all the time. GPS. No gluten. It's damaging to your overall health. 80% of your immune cells are in your gut. 80% of your immune cells, gluten means glue. It sticks to your intestinal tract. It'll damage the key component of your immune cells. Everybody's got a nutritional protocol. Everybody's got this new support, and we're not talking about keeping our gut healthy in its good, pristine condition. The best starting point is good quality foods. And remember, diabetics, again, with the GPS, need to adhere to this. No gluten, no processed food, no added sugar, GPS. DNA, take care of it. No dairy. Dairy is highly allergic. It's actually more allergic to you. You're more allergic to dairy than gluten. So let's avoid dairy all that we can. No nicotine, clearly no smoking at this point, and no artificial sweeteners. Whole, good, quality foods. If anybody needs some suggestions or questions about that, I'm happy to answer it. We good so far?
That's a question from Anthony.
Hi, Anthony.
How do we know this hasn't been around before and it has just been identified?
Great question. We don't know that. We only assume that it's been identified. It's been around in animals. It's just transmitted, as I said earlier, from animal to human to human, and one more mutation. So the species S and L, we already have 2. So it's just new in humans, but it wasn't new to animals, and that's why it's so virulent. Anybody else? Terrific. Make sure you get adequate protein intake. Adequate protein intake is needed because we want to hold on to our muscle mass. We don't want to start getting sarcopenia now. Sarcopenia is a sign of aging, loss of immune function. Add some good prebiotics, garlic, onion, ginger. Healthy spices, which will help inflammation, like turmeric, are also a great choice. Eat your fruits and vegetables now. Eat a couple of fruits a day. Get all your green vegetables. Eat from the color rainbow, as I like to talk about. Fermented foods. Fermented foods are great because they feed your good bacteria in your gut. Fermented foods are some of the best prebiotics that you can have. Drink a lot of water. Drink warm fluids. Viruses don't like heat. Drink warm fluids. Get sufficient and quality sleep. That's a critical element. 7 to 8 good hours of sleep is critical. And get exercise. No one's saying you can't go out for a walk. No one's saying that you can't work out at home. Just the gyms are closed right now. Now's the time to really understand that body weight really will help people get strong. It's a great exercise. And in some of the succeeding Facebook Lives, we're going to give you and share some home exercise tips. In addition, we're going to share tomorrow some immune function supplements that everybody can consider. And we're also going to show you some other health tips every day. We'll be on, again, 1 o'clock during the weekdays. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. Send them in, info@drrobertsilverman.com. Well, it's been a lot of fun. I have a funny feeling this is going to pick up some steam. Hope to see you all soon. Dr. Rob, always yours in health.